Oh, you're right, because that's what we'd have to do, some things that you don't want duplicated.
However, I would think that the clever people in this town government would be able to figure out some way to handle that, even if it were multiples, which are like carbon copies. So then you just do 5 or 7 or 10 or 15 or 20 copies.
I don't know.
You know,
I know it has to have the number on it.
And save time.
Okay, well, we'll take that to the building
I
department.
appreciate that. Also, I'd like to know whether any thought has been given to some kind of tree ordinance.
Who takes care of that? We do have that. Would you explain to?
You're discussing it.
Yes, we are looking at a tree ordinance.
Thank you. Barbara Thomas? She didn't get here yet. She'll be right back. Okay. Lucia DeFina? She had to leave. No, she's here. Oh, no, I thought you meant the supervisor. No. Okay. Hi, Lucia. Well, we decided we'd try to get you out of here. But now we're here, we're going to listen to you.
Yeah, you guys have been listening to us for 10 years already, so that's a waste.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's a clear waste. So what I had to say was going to be directly to Laura Gillen. And I guess Mitch can hear, but, you know, you guys are really fools. You're real fools. You know, this just continues, and then she condones everything that they do and sticks up for the people that have put us in this situation and put our dogs in this situation. Animals continue to die in that shelter. Animals continue to die in cages. Siegel decides who lives and dies. This is all their people. Their people that they put in this shelter. And they're still there and they're still in charge. Marino's not here today, and now she's a coward. She runs out because she doesn't want to hear it. You need to stand up and you need to face it. And you need to understand what's going on here and figure out how to get around it. Because she's not looking very good, and it's about to get worse. Because now with this video that somebody took that's going viral, and the phone again is ringing off the hook, and talk about protests again, it's all going to be with her face all over the media. And that's the price she's going to pay, because she stood there with what they did and condoned it, encouraged it, and put those people on a pedestal. That was only about a meeting or two ago. She stood up there talking about the wonderful job and praising Kim Strong and about ready to award her a contract and give that woman money. This is a woman who is making money. She did it on fostering children and got caught, and now it's our dogs. And it's got to stop.
You're talking about the one here, the shelter here? Are you speaking about the one that...
I'm talking about the theory, Mike Pastore's philosophy. And that's what Mike Pastore's philosophy is. When he came in 2014, because you guys put him there, and Marino and Joe Ra and everybody helped encourage him to turn that shelter into what they always wanted it to be, an abuse of power. And mismanagement of money, horrific mismanagement of money. And that's Pastore's philosophy. Out the door is out the door. And that's where these animals are going, out the door. And who the hell knows where they're going, but there's a lot of suffering going on. And why would a $5 million shelter need to push animals out the door to rescuers who barely have $30,000 in their bank account? It doesn't make sense. Don't you understand that? So you're being used. Wake up. Out the door is out the door. They're keeping their money for other things. There's one person you need to get out the door, and that's Mike Pastore. Open your eyes.
Okay. All right. Marino Ugalid.
Hello, my name is Mariano Ugalde. I am the president of the Uniondale Chamber of Commerce.
President Chamberlain, right?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon. I wanted to address the three of you there, so I have nothing negative to say, so don't worry. First, I want to
Good, thank you.
I really want to thank Senior Councilwoman Gooseby for all her efforts that she has had in the past couple of years in moving forward the project with the development of the Nassau County Hub at Uniondale.
Thank you.
I really want to thank you for coming out to the ceremony at Sloan Kettering, and I just haven't had time to connect with your office to thank you in person. But really, thank you for coming out. I also want to address Councilman D'Esposito, and I want to thank you as well, along with Senior Councilwoman Gooseby, for attending the Long Island Nets game. I just happened to be there the night that you guys were there. I was like, that is so neat. So really, thank you for coming out. I hope you had a good time.
And they won.
Yeah, they did
Right?
win. They did
They
win.
had to win.
They were on a really good
It was
roll.
the senior councilwoman's good luck.
They didn't win.
You guys pushed them over the top. And for Councilman Mascarello, if I got your name right, I really wanted to welcome you to Uniondale because you represent the north end of this community. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say hi to all of you and thank you, and that's pretty much
Well,
it.
thank you very much, and I thank you too for all that you try to do to help us. And when you see something that's not right, you let us know. So we still appreciate this, so just continue to do it.
Again, I thank your office wholeheartedly, and they're very respectful.
Councilman Dunn just wishes you'd say something nice about him, too.
Well, okay. I am a United States military veteran, so I know you're a veteran also, so thank you for your service. So there you go. Everyone else, I don't have any other comments this time, but I'll work on it. So thank you, and have a nice afternoon.
Thank you. Ms. Barbara Thomas.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Thomas. I'm from Massapequa. And I'd like to also speak about where our Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter dogs have gone. In the past, we've come before you to tell you about other places that the animals shouldn't go to, but they were still sent there anyway. And that was the cruelty facility down in Virginia. 12 dogs went down there. A bunch of them came back. So there's plenty of evidence of neglect and cruelty that occurred at that location. But today, the main focus should be Road to Home North, where there are well over 100 dogs in that facility, crate next to crate next to crate, spinning and spinning and spinning in urine and feces. There are way too many animals at that facility. I do understand that sometimes people start with good intentions. Kim took one dog years ago, but then it turned into a business, really, instead of a rescue. And it's a real shame because if you, or you know what, I just sent you all the video so you can see it for yourself. It's hideous. These animals are now victims of animal cruelty. And I beg you to go there and bring our dogs back because there's a whole lot of them there. There are some that are adoptable, claimed to have been rehabbed, and then there are some that are sanctuary dogs. The problem with that is when they declared this would be a sanctuary too, they kept taking sanctuary dogs, sanctuary dogs, sanctuary dogs. Eventually the whole place is going to fill up. Well, guess what? It's full, and those dogs are suffering.
I don't want to interrupt you, and this is an honest, this isn't a gotcha moment. This is completely from my knowledge. I didn't get to read all of the information yet. I obviously didn't get to watch the video. The incident or incidents that are at hand, is it being invested by the district attorney that's up there? Has any arrests been made? And you may not know the answer.
I can say there are authorities involved.
Okay. Say no more. All right, thank you.
So I know I begged you before, but this time, this is, I don't even know what to call it. Please get our animals back.
Okay, Mr. Ross. After this meeting is over, we need to have a short meeting. After this meeting is over, we want to see if we can do some sort of resolution so we can get this points back.
Yeah, but I don't know. See, we don't know what dogs are there because we didn't send dogs there. Another rescue came, took dogs and sent them there. So we rescued them from the natural animal shelter, and they were all up there. So we're looking into that to see if we can do anything. So, okay, and if we can get those moved back. Okay.
I wanted to speak with Mr. Rock because you asked us about a resolution, and he's informing me we don't know how many of our dogs are there, but we're working on it to find out so that we can go ahead and get our dogs and try to bring them back here.
She just said that she doesn't, go ahead, Mr. Rock, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Rock.
As the deputy commissioner said, we have not sent dogs to that rescue in about 2 years. Now, the town of Hempstead has not sent them. It could, the way it was explained to me a little while ago was that other rescues came in and took our dogs, and those rescues have sent those dogs there. And we are going to make, go ahead, I won't finish, go. And
Miss Madden, I don't want to interrupt you. When you said sneaking dogs, who's sneaking dogs out where?
You have a time to speak, so come up and speak now.
Well,
Well, come and speak.
yeah, sit.
Come and sit up here.
This might answer your question. Kim Strong was here a few months ago, told the board other rescue organizations have been sneaking dogs out of Hempstead to her facility.
that's exactly what I said.
You do know that other rescues have taken dogs from you and sent them to us. We have a dog named we call Golden Max. He was one of your dogs. Diamonds in the rough folder.
It goes on. I mean, I clipped it because
So I'm a little confused. So Kim Strong is the woman who's upstate, right? That's where it is? Okay. And we're saying that she's sneaking dogs out from where?
from the Hempstead shelter.
And she's sneaking them up to her facility. That's what she's saying. Okay. The question at hand is, according to Deputy Commissioner Master Marino, we haven't officially sent any dogs to, what's the name of the place? Road to Home, right? Is that correct?
You've sent a lot, Road to Home, it's just so you understand. In fact, they just told you this, and I don't expect you to remember all of this. There's a lot of speakers here. They admitted that they partnered with Kim Strong. So every animal that Road to Home has now taken out of Hempstead in the past 2 years should be followed to find out the end result of that dog, because they partnered because she signed an illegitimate, illegal contract. Mr. Ra, I believe, suggested to sever it. That was 2016. Mr. Pastori, in spite of all that, continued to work with her. And if not for our efforts, this board probably would have passed that resolution. They didn't.
That was a few months ago, right?
But let's keep in mind, even though you haven't sent dogs there in 2 years, you've got 24 dogs there from 2 years ago and before.
I'm just trying to get an understanding. I'm not saying that there are dogs, they're not dogs. I'm just trying to get a handle on what it is that we're actually discussing here.
Right.
So if what is going on obviously is true, there's video, there's investigations from different groups. It's upstate, right? It's still in New York?
Right, but okay. Look, I'm not putting any eggs in any baskets of agencies up there.
All I'm asking is, if this is the case, can we have the town attorney's office confer with whatever agencies are conducting an investigation? And if some of our dogs are there, can we find out if they are and see what we can do to get them out?
Absolutely.
And who are you relying on for this information? Because I would want that to be the current district attorney, the current.
I'm going to leave that up to Mr. Ra. And
Certainly not the local SPCA, because they conduct themselves like our Nassau County SBA. They're in on it.
I'm going to leave that up to Mr. Ra.
Okay.
Whoever his contacts are, whoever he can contact, let's find out the facts, and we can go from there. Let's not.
Too, our dogs are all microchipped. That was passed under.
I just don't want to, because if there is litigation down the road between whatever organizations that she's involved in, if it's true, if it's not true, I just don't want to be on the record that I'm indicting someone for doing something that may or may not be true. So all I'm asking to answer the questions that are at hand, if the town attorney can look into it, we'll get the facts as it relates to the town of Hempstead and the dogs that are there, and we'll go from there. Is that okay with everybody?
Okay, not to put you on the spot, but I'd love to hear your opinion on what the board is doing about Mike Pistori.
You have to sit over there until she finishes.
I'm her co-pilot.
But you do that right over there.
She's flying the plane herself.
I know you're flying. She's have to fly this alone, and then you can have your turn. I have you down here.
Oh, this is her turn?
Yeah.
I thought this was like a special.
No. We're going to do a special meeting someplace else, but we have to conduct this as we should. Sit down. Sit right there. Go ahead, Ms. Madden.
Ms. Madden, did you say not to contact the SPCA? We're going to contact the authorities up there, but did you say not to contact?
I tell you, I'm going to suggest who you should contact, if you don't mind. The district attorney in that area.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, the district attorney in that area, in addition to that, and that's regardless of what I don't care what they're finding. They can tell me those dogs are dancing on rose petals. Our dogs need to come back. We see the conditions, and those conditions were just recorded weeks ago. So the local county executive, and I'm going to suggest getting Brian Shapiro from the Humane Society of the United States involved in this, because I'd like to see him rescue all of those dogs. I believe he has the ability to do so, and I know you've worked with him before. Those three agencies.
Okay.
Pistori. So where are we at with this? Because this is all the foundation, and this is why we're here every 2 weeks, myself since 2010. What are you doing about Pistori? He inspected this site. He sent an email, reassured everyone that it was okay to pass the contract to continue to send dogs there. This is utter mismanagement. This is just, you wouldn't want this guy in charge of any living thing. Why can't you find it in your hearts to find a place for him? You did it with Charles Malone. You said, here you go. We're going to do an investigation. We'll see you at the building department. We'll get back to you. Why is he still there? Can anyone answer that? Councilman D'Esposito?
I cannot answer, and it's an ongoing discussion between everybody involved, and as discussed in the past, I don't think it's right to put people's positions, especially when it comes to personnel, and discuss them like this.
So are you suggesting that because of this outcome, and I know you haven't seen the video, I'd like to spare you, it's horrific, it's disgusting, you wouldn't put a dead dog in this place. Are you saying there would be conversation from this day forward because of this video?
I'm not suggesting anything. What I'm saying is that, as was asked to Mr. Ra, he's going to investigate, what's going on with the rescue or Road to Hope or Road to whatever it's called, and we will go from there.
Right, but
that's everything that's involved with it.
Okay, so that doesn't cover it, just so we're clear. That doesn't, getting the dogs back just means, we did this with Virginia.
I understand
Shut down
that.
the state of Virginia, and they ran back and got the dogs. Also, can someone give me an update about the audit? Has Laura Gillen seen the audit?
I don't know whether she has or not.
Could you tell me, Mr. LaCaruba, if the supervisor has seen the fiscal audit from the county comptroller?
The supervisor has seen the audit. The town attorney's office, the comptroller, the shelter, we reviewed the draft, and our comments are due back this week.
Okay, I don't know if you are aware of this, I certainly am, but the new assistant director has not been included in reviewing that audit. She has not been included in the recent underhanded part-time hiring of Christy Fonte. This is why we fought to get this person in there, so she would be included. She's not been. And also, the RFP is still not up for a new trainer.
The audit covered a period of time in which the new assistant shelter director was not employed by the town, so I don't know what value she would have had. And
I think she'd have tremendous value because she
Okay,
came in
with-
because of the mismanagement.
with respect to the RFP, it'll be available for pickup on Friday. It was advertised yesterday.
Okay, Mrs. Madden, you only have about 7 minutes left now.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman.
Not 7 minutes, seconds. 5 seconds now.
Did you just
4
say
seconds.
that it's posted because it wasn't posted as of this morning?
No, I have not seen it. None of us have seen it, so it's not posted.
The department advised me that the RFP was advertised yesterday. It would be available for pickup on Friday.
Okay, I'm sorry, Councilwoman, you said you haven't
We
seen
have
the
not
audit?
seen the report. We
You
have
haven't
not
seen the
it.
audit?
No.
Okay, well, I would hope you're going to do that. Thank
I've
you.
seen it. Wasn't shared. Okay, Miss Valerie Lamp. Thank you.
Mr. A little less conversation, a little more action. What do you think? I have a great idea. Seriously.
I can't wait.
I know. Bated breath, edge of your seat. Here we go. Instead of waiting, because, look, time is of the essence. I can't sleep at night when I know that there's an animal suffering and there's something I can do about it. Okay, I get these calls, I get these emails, and people are like, oh, you should feel good. You know, you helped this cat, you helped this dog, you made me foster, and now I adopted a cat, whatever. That's not enough because we can all do more. And what I'm asking you is this. This is a simple fix. Pop the hood, let's go, meaning people from the town, animal control, up to Utica, bring your little microchip scanner doohickey thing, and let's get our dogs back. The ones that show up that are registered to the town of Hempstead are animals that we should be able to bring back immediately so they don't have to spend another night or another hour sleeping, walking, spinning in cages, which I don't know if you guys know what spinning is, but that's a mental breakdown. It is a symptom of an animal who's going crazy. Let's get these dogs back. Can we do that?
I would think that there is a protocol that would be set up by the local authorities. I don't think that if we got into a van, Mr. Lagaruba and I and some other people here went into a van and drove up there and did a SWAT descendant on the shelter, that they would give us the dogs. I think we'd be breaking, some laws. So I think that working with the district attorney's office, working with the district attorney, but we didn't put them there.
What?
We did not put those dogs there.
They're there.
So we can't, those dogs were adopted out by some other third party. Okay.
Ladies,
so we got,
excuse me.
This just happened yesterday
Thomas?
afternoon, correct?
Please.
No.
Well, that's when we found out about it this morning.
This is the bigger issue, okay? You guys are, no offense, like, this shouldn't even be a battle right now. This should be, oh my God, look what some of our animals are enduring. It is complete cruelty, it is neglect, it's abuse, it's horrific, okay? And you know what? I wouldn't even want my dog to walk through that door. Forget about actually stay there. But there are things we can do. I know there's things we can do. Just like we got them there, right? They're there. I don't care how they got there. I don't care if they paratrooped in. They're there. These were our taxpayer-funded shelter animals, and we have to get them back. We have to, because they're being abused. Now, let me say this. Let's not just cut the weed, right? You got to yank it out by the root. This is a bigger issue, okay? I've tried to follow other animals before, and once they leave the shelter, and this is not an accident. This is not some type of, nonchalant setup. This is intentional. We can't track our animals anymore. Okay? I had a dog that left the shelter and I wanted to know, we were told it was being sent to a rescue. What rescue? Nobody would tell us. That's not right. Taxpayers deserve to know, because how do we know they're not all being sent to these shitholes? How do we know? How do we know? The people who love the animals, the people who care, the people who pick up animals off the street, the people who cry at night when Brock gets killed.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Lamb.
How do we know where they're going? We have to get them back. I'm not done with you. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm coming over there and we're going to talk more today, because we can go. I'll go in my car. I volunteer myself. I'll take my Jeep. I will go get at least 3 dogs back if there are dogs. Give me the microchipper.
Ms. Lamp, we
Yes.
have to continue.
Okay,
With
Senior
others. There are
Councilwoman,
others
thank
waiting,
you.
sweetie. Thank you. All right. Should I get, which one should I get? Felix Picacci? Okay, Felix is out. Thank you, Felix. Yeah, he's reading the flag. Dina Thompson. Ms. Thompson?
I'm here today because I do have some follow-up questions in regards to last week's meeting.
But you have to use your name. Put the mic up. The mic is not, we can't hear you. And you need your name and address.
My name is Lady Culture, and I currently reside in the town of Hempstead.
Where in the town of Hempstead?
Specifically within the districts of Roosevelt, Uniondale, Baldwin, sometimes Elmont. I have baby fathers in different districts.
Okay.
But I wanted to know, would we be able to, what are the steps exactly to, in regards to cases 29920, 30115, 9920, 20465, 165?
What cases are you speaking of?
On the resolutions from last week, some of them were closed and adopted. I wanted to know what is the steps to possibly appeal, or just, like she said, don't take time, but take some time planning and the implementation of those cases.
What cases are
You talking about the calendar from 2 weeks ago?
Well, what was it, May 13th? The Wednesday? Yeah.
May 10th? Felix, when was the last meeting? May 7th. Thank you.
So, as I was saying,
But we don't know what cases, we don't have anything up here.
it was
And what are the cases concerning?
9920. So
What-
these were the overall 2019 capital plan, the transit commute, as well as the, what was the other one? Pools for the swimming pools and the backgrounds of the neighborhoods that I listed previously. So in response to the request for proposals for disabilities and employment initiative staff training, I would like to look to my guardian angel. He follows me as a homeless person looking for shelter, along with, well, I don't have my pets anymore because I had to give them up when I became unable to have shelter of my own. So my guardian angel, he's like, you know what, Deanna, go to the book of Thessalonians 2:13, I'm sorry, and that'll give you the strength you need as you go through these 30 weeks of employment, or maybe 50 weeks of unemployment, depending on which council member has control of my case. So, but back to the request. For staff training, we have available vacant lots as addressed this morning by, who was it? It was about 10:50 this morning when we discussed the new intake surveys, how we're going to upgrade the continuity of care. So the issue was parking. There was no slips, so of course that was closed. The next one was standing prohibitions. Of course that one was closed. I would have liked to speak, but Deanna Adassa Thompson of Spiritual Belief cannot talk. And I've asked my employment advisor, what do I do when I want to go to a meeting and speak, but because I'm in prayer and meditation, I can't, and I'm limited.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Stu Cruel? Cruel?
Is this the last one?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll have to talk quickly to get everything in. Stu Kroll, Great Neck. It's remarkable to me that after all this time, we have to keep on fighting to prevent animal abuse. The results are not what I like, but maybe we need different elected officials to help us get there. There's a proposal currently pending in the legislature to ban stores from selling puppy mill dogs and to only allow rescues to be sold in pet stores. Why is this not going on in Hempstead? Anybody can feel free to jump in and answer me. That's fine. Are these pet store owners so important to the AKC that animals need to keep dying? Let's stop taking photo ops and cutting ribbons and start doing something to protect animals. Banning these stores encounters too much resistance. Does anybody have the necessary guts to take a position that doesn't encounter resistance? Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I have not heard any public comment whatsoever on a number of issues that are currently going on. There's some students or hooligans at Hofstra that forced a dog to drink beer. This is a clear case of animal cruelty and should be a chargeable offense. I haven't heard anybody come out and say anything. How does an individual kill 2 young dogs and face a maximum sentence of 2 years, which he probably will never get? If you steal a loaf of bread, you'll get more than 2 years. Apparently, inflicting a cruel death upon an innocent animal is not deserving of significant punishment. There's also a depraved individual running loose using some kind of snare trap in the Baldwin area. Under intense pressure, the SPCA is offering a $5,000 reward for information. Just as was the case at Hofstra, they did nothing until public pressure became intense. I guess they don't want to dig too deep into the $1.5 million asset forfeiture fund. This maniac should serve decades in prison for this heinous offense, but I sincerely doubt that he will. A couple of more quick points here. The last point I'd like to make is that it's important to discuss about Kim Strong. She's also apparently allegedly had issues with children there that were adopted that the authorities came to take as well. So there have been horrible abuses going on over there. It's a heinous violation. This is not the sort of individual that the town of Hempstead should be dealing with. Some months ago, Mike Pistorian inspected this facility and gave it a clean bill of health. This leaves me incredulous, as either he turns a blind eye to wrongdoing or is even more incompetent than I originally thought he was. Do these dogs not deserve better than to spend the rest of their lives in filthy crates? I recommend that Kim Strong no longer be allowed to pull dogs from there, which I'm sure she won't be, and I further believe that it's way past time that Pastore be transferred anywhere where there are no living creatures. 2 last quick things here. I'd like to know how Christy Fonte, given her application was basically a total fabrication, who hired her and what is her salary? What is her remuneration? Can somebody answer that? No response to that either, okay. Obviously, nobody on this board, with one exception, really cares at all about animals. And therefore, all I can say is that I'd like to go on public record now as saying that whoever's up running for re-election, I will make the maximum campaign contribution to your opponent as legally allowed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before we finish, if I could just say one thing. It's not about you, Stuart. Yeah. So this week on Sunday, we finished National Police Week. Last week, we celebrated Peace Officers Day. And I wanted to do this under the regular meeting, but it did slip my mind. I just want to thank the Bay Constables and the public safety officers that are here for doing their part in keeping Hempstead Town safe. So thank you.